Welcome to Bryer's Music Showcase. I'm Bryer and welcome back to another video. And this is something a little bit different than what I normally do. I don't really do music news too much, really at all. But this is for something that kind of speaks to me. And of course, it involves my favorite band of all time, of course, that being Queen. And for those who don't know, Queen had recently announced a box set for their first album, which I have right here. I have my 2011 remaster right here, and then I also own a original US pressing, which is very cool. Very happy to own those. But they recently announced a box set, and what's notable about this box set is that it's going to contain a newly remixed version of the debut. And in this video, I kind of want to give my thoughts on this box set and my current thoughts on the remix in general, based on what I've heard, what's been released. And I have some thoughts here, so I wouldn't say like my thoughts are fully developed, but I kind of wait a couple days to make sure I have an idea what I'm going to talk about. And it's going to be kind of rambly, kind of ranty a little bit, but we're just trying things out here. So again, let's go ahead. Let's just jump into the box set. Let me just show you what it actually looks like for those who have not seen it yet. So right here, I'm on the official Queen homepage, the official website. And right here, you can see there's lots of things that they're kind of including here. So again, you have shirts, mugs, there's going to be a picture disc version. Of course, even cassette too. That's kind of cool actually. And there's also a single. There's like a 2 CD pack right here, which you can also come with the 45 single of The Night Comes Down remixed, which I'll talk more in a sec. Or you can just get the CD in general. So if you don't want the actual box set, you can just go for this instead. But the thing I'm going to talk about, this is the actual main thing here. So of course you can see it comes in this nice purple box, which I do like the design of it. I think the box itself looks pretty cool. And then you can see all the discs there, six discs in total here, plus some little photo, kind of like those photo kind of card things. I'm not sure what you use them for. And then you also get the remixed album on vinyl as well, and you get a little mini poster kind of replicating the back cover by the looks of it. So I'm going to go quickly kind of run down what's here. So of course, disc 1, the first CD, is the 2024 mix, and it's pretty much is the album itself. But what's interesting is that they have Mad to Swine included, and from what I've gathered, it was supposed to be on the album, but for what reason, I'm not 100% sure. 100% sure. I don't think they fully disclosed that, but Mad to Swine was taken off and was just regulated to a B-side. And here they actually decided to include it in the actual track listing, which is kind of an interesting choice. I'm not sure how to feel about that. Again, if you're watching this, you can comment your thoughts on that matter. But it's kind of interesting. I'm not like totally upset about that. Yes, it's not quite like the original track listing. I think I would have preferred it being on a separate disc, or at the very least maybe as a bonus track, just to stay faithful to the original track listing. But it's still interesting. Like, again, I'm not mad about that one in particular. But anyway, moving on, we have disc 2, which is some demos, some Day Lane Lay demos. I don't know if I said that right, but it just has some demo tracks of Keep Yourself Alive, The Night Comes Down, Great King Rat, Jesus, and Liar. Okay, disc 3 has some of the sessions, basic fare, outtakes and stuff like that. That's cool. Then you have disc 4, which has all the backing tracks together, which is interesting. Not sure how much I would play that, but still, it's fascinating. And then you have Queen 1 at the BBC. Now, I do know a lot of this stuff has been released already. And kind of go back to Facecam. And I know you can get a CD of Queen at the Beebs. I believe that's what it's called. I'll put a picture there. But that contains a lot of the BBC sessions around that time. So this is just another way to get it. Of course, if you were to just get that that BBC CD, that's probably cheaper. But they decided to include it here, which is interesting. Then you have some live cuts. And for the most part, a lot of this stuff, it's from the Rainbow concert from '74, which of course has already been released. So yeah, Queen at the Rainbow '74, which is a 2 CD pack. You have shows from the Queen 2 tour and the Sheer Heart Attack tour. And of course, a lot of the stuff that's featured here are stuff that's on this. So again, this is probably the cheapest way to get these. So again, not sure how much I'd play that. And then that's pretty much. And also, okay, before I continue, there was actually one more thing I want to bring up. And now, I know a lot of the stuff I've said, it's already on here. But there's actually some things that are interesting. am curious, because you have 2 tracks, Hangman and Doing All Right, live in San Diego. Hey, that's my home, it's my home city. And they're from March. Well, Hangman's from, both these San Diego live recordings are from 76, but still interesting. And then probably the thing I'm most curious am, and that is Jesus and I'm a Man. Of course, I'm a Man being the Spencer Davis Group track, live at Imperial College in August 1970. What's fascinating about that is that that's 1970. I don't even think John was even in the band yet by that point. So that's like early recordings there. So I think that's probably the most interesting thing of this whole box set so far, is just hearing those kind of very early kind of recordings of them that early on. So that's kind of cool. So I think that's kind of cool. And then you have a DLP, which I already went over, and that's pretty much it. So here you also get a book. I should have mentioned it also comes with a big book with lots of photos, which should be cool too. Some more rare photos, which is very nice. All right, so that's the box set. Overall, the reason why I'm talking about this is because I'm kind of on the fence personally. Like, I would really want to get this because it's just some more Queen kind of memorabilia, because I really want to keep building my Queen collection, just to keep it growing. Presentation wise, if we go back, it's pretty good. I do like the presentation here. But again, the only downside is that aside from maybe the book, the poster, and a lot of the picture stuff, and you get the vinyl too, and all these CDs, a lot of the content here are stuff that we already have access to, that's been out for a while. Like again, like the BBC sessions and a lot of these live stuff from the Rainbow, have already been released. So on that front, it's kind of a little disappointing that there's not any more kind of rarities, but still, it still looks cool. I can't lie, it still looks nice. However, though, that said, I will say, even though the box set looks cool, I will say there is one thing that's kind of really putting me on the fence. Not just the price, but something else. And I feel like the way they're promoting this box set, I don't know who's in charge of marketing, but for whoever's in charge of that, they are clearly not doing a very good job at it right now. And the reason I say this is because if we just quickly cut to a new page, so right here, they recently released a video version, because I'm not sure if I already said it, but they released one of the tracks from the remix, and they chose The Night Comes Down, which honestly, it's kind of an odd choice. I'm not sure why they're using The Night Comes Down. Personally, I feel like Keep Yourself Alive would have been a much better song to kind of showcase. Also, staying faithful to Queen history, because Keep Yourself Alive was their first single. So I'm not sure why they chose The Night Comes Down of all tracks, but still. Now, I've already heard this. I'm not going to play it because, again, there's a possibility of a copyright. So I'm just going to mute it, actually. So I'm sorry if you were wanting to hear the music, but that's just, we're not going to do that today. But again, in terms of the remix, I think it sounds fine. I think I'm obviously the drums sound has a much different sound, and the guitars definitely do have they're definitely a lot more. I don't know how to phrase it, but there's a bit more oomph into the guitars, a bit more, just a little bit. But there's two things that people are talking about the most. Well, I'm not sure if I already mentioned the drums, but the drums, of course, sound a bit different. Not quite as punchy as the original mix, which is what I prefer. But the thing that has gotten the people the most on arms is the fact that you can if you faintly listen, you can faintly hear that they just ever so slightly pitch corrected a lot of Freddie's vocals, which it's not a whole lot. Like, to my ears, it's not too much, but you can definitely tell they definitely did some tempering on that front, which is kind of a little bit disappointing, that the fact that they think that they should pitch correct Freddie's vocals, because Freddie was already great. And even if he wasn't pitch perfect, I mean, it sounds cool. So on that thing, I think that's kind of where they're really pushing it in terms of the remix. Like, I get to make it a lot crisper, maybe sound a bit more modern, but I feel like Freddie's vocals were pretty good off the front. You could polish them, but I'm saying the pitch correction was a bit too much. So on that end, it's kind of I kind of wish it didn't have the pitch correction, but again, it sounds fine. I don't hate it, but I still think the 2011 remaster and even the original vinyl mix I think it still sounds better. Which might as well bring up another thing. Again, I warned you I'm going to be rambling on a bit, but in terms of the remixes or the original mixes, the original mix are always going to be there. It's always going to still be available. I have nothing against remixes. It's kind of to me I find it fascinating, because you have a different way of hearing this album, whether you like it or hate the remix. It's still a different way to listen to the album. And yeah, so on that end, I don't mind the idea of a Queen remix. But back to this video, going back to what I was originally supposed to talk about, which was how they're promoting this box set. I think they are really screwing up, because for the most part the video seems okay. I mean, this is kind of suspect, but you got some Queen footage here, but you can probably tell if I were to play this, like, yeah, you can tell, like, let me see, there's even worse example towards the end. So almost we got the psychedelic stuff here, but here we go. You can tell, like, let me just go back. And this one, you got this too. Like, ugh, look at that. Looks awful. Looks awful. So yeah, let me just get rid of that. So, as I said earlier, I have no idea who's in charge of marketing, but whoever's in charge of the marketing really cheaped out. They're really cheaping out here. And I feel like this is just not the way to promote this box set, because now people are going to see this crappy video with crappy AI, and it's going to totally turn people off. And who knows? This might start rumors that people think the whole remix is going to be AI, which I don't really agree with it. I don't think the remix was done by AI. But now it's kind of giving people bad vibes, which is very disappointing. And I'm very disappointed that the official Queen YouTube page agreed to use this stuff. It's a shame, because again, Queen is my all-time favorite band, and the fact that people are doing this, and there are people in the Queen camp agreeing to this, I don't know. I'm not on board with that. I'm very kind of disappointed with that. Again, it's just a video. but still, Queen deserved way better than this. Like, look at my man Brian. Look how they did my man Brian dirty. That doesn't even look like Brian. Looks like more like Santana almost, if you really think about it. And also, just as a side note, you could done something kind of like this where you could have used some artwork. And Queen has actually done this before. I'm going to show you right now. So this is a video that's on the official Queen YouTube channel. And it's a video, it's called Queen, A Kind of Magic, You Are the Champions fan video. So I kind of forget what this was for originally. I want to say it was to commemorate the fact Bohemian Rhapsody reached 1 billion views. I'm not 100% sure. You can correct me if I'm incorrect there. But of course this came out in 2019, so this was way before AI was really starting to be a big thing. And here they're playing the song A Kind of Magic, and I'll play a little bit just so I can prove it. You probably couldn't hear that, but because I realized the desktop audio is not recording, but still, it's A Kind of Magic, the song from the album of the same name. And right here, they have actual people create artwork, like fan artwork, like stuff like this, okay, digital artwork, and again, this was 2019, so this was before AI was becoming a big thing. So a lot of this was done either by hand or by just your typical kind of computer software, stuff like this. Stuff like some people actually animated certain things, like this piece right here was all animated. So they could have just done something like this. I feel like could have been way better than what they did with the Night Comes Down video. So there's that. So here we are back over here. So again, I'm very torn. I really want to have this, but based on how people have been handling the marketing, it's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of it's making me sad. Like, honestly, it's generally making me sad that stuff like this is happening here. And that's kind of going to start overshadowing what the whole point of this was to promote a Queen remix. But yeah, so of course, again, I would want to have this box set. I mean, there's even this version which has both the picture disc and a cassette and the 45 single. That's even more money. So if I were to spend money, I would want to get this instead. Like, the 45 maybe I can get sometime down the line. Cassette maybe just for collector's sake separately, but again, I'm not a cassette person, so who knows. And if you don't want to pay for this, you can always just pay for just the 2 CD pack, where it just has the remix by itself and all the sessions as well. So you have this option too if you don't want to spend that much money, which honestly is probably the smart move. But yeah, still, we'll see. The box set doesn't come out till October 25th of this year, so I still have some time to think it over, but we'll see. And I think that's where I'm gonna end it. So again, I'm on the fence. The box set looks cool, but again, how the marketing department of Queen, how they're handling this promotion, so far they're not doing a good job, and it makes me sad. And yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. But if you're a Queen fan, and if you're in the know-how, or if you're aware of what's going on, feel free, please comment below your thoughts on any of this. And you can leave your thoughts on the remix, of course. Nothing can top the original mixes, but still, are you excited for this remix? Are you still interested in hearing a different version of the album? And also your thoughts on the use of AI in Queen videos, and just your thoughts on any of the things I've talked about, basically. I look forward to reading all that, but until then, I'll see you in the next video. Take care and Goodbye for now.